Hey, Mrs. Sperber, what day is it today?
It's my birthday!
Happy birthday! What are you going to do today?
We're going to go on a birthday math adventure! Here we go! Here we are at Queenie Park on Wednesday, March 25th. Ready for a birthday math adventure!
Hey, Mrs. Sperber, how tall is this?
Well, we could just measure it since it's not that tall. This guy is 3 feet. But if we're looking for something like that, I can't really measure that. So I want to show you guys a new method. If you measure the shadow, which is 5 feet long, we are going to find the angle of elevation from the sun with this website called suncalc.org. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to do a little right triangle trick and figure out how tall it is. This one we can obviously measure, but that method will help us on objects like that. It is 4:17 on Wednesday, March 25th at Queenie Park.
Okay, so here's the math behind it. We went and we saw this little yellow pole, and it was casting a shadow down on the ground. And that shadow was 5 feet long. I'm assuming this is a right angle. It was on concrete, so it was pretty flat. But if we have other ones where the ground wasn't perfectly flat or it was at an angle, that will throw our numbers off. So this is kind of assuming the ground is flat, which it not necessarily always is. So the day I filmed this was 3/25, not my actual birthday. My actual birthday is today. March 26th, but this is when I filmed, and the time was 4:17, which in military time is 16:17. Location was Queenie Park, and I don't know the angle of elevation, but I do know that the shadow had a length of 5 feet. So in order to find the angle of elevation, you know, we've got our sun up over here somewhere. That's a pretty rough sun. But I can find the angle of elevation in this app called suncalc.org. So if you go to suncalc.org, and you can search any location. So we were at Queenie Park. I'm going to type that in. If you did this on your own, whatever location you're at is where you would put. So Queenie, and that's the first one that came up. And then I need to make sure I put in my time. They do military time, so this is 16:17, which is 4:17. Press take time, and you can see the angle of elevation right there under altitude. It's 33.65 degrees. Kind of cool, right? So 35, let's go, oh, gray still. Oh, was it 33? Yeah, 33.65 degrees. And that was our angle of elevation. So now we can figure out how tall the object is. I'm trying to figure out how tall it is, and I have right triangle, hopefully. The ground is level trig, so I have opposite and adjacent. So I'm going to say tangent of 33.65 degrees is opposite over adjacent. I can multiply both sides by 5, and then I can type that tan 33.65 in my calculator and get a number, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it all at once. 5 times tangent 33.35, and that gives me 3.29. So x equals 3.29 feet. Not too bad. When I measured it, I got pretty much 3 feet. So this method works. Obviously, we could measure physically that yellow pole, but some of our next objects, I'm not going to be able to climb the trees to figure out how tall they are. So this method will work. So object 1 is 3.29 feet.
Mrs. Sperber, how tall is this light pole?
I don't know, but we can figure this out. To figure out how tall this light pole is, we need to measure the shadow, which is a long one. So I've got 16 feet. I'm going to put down a little marker.
Okay, so for our second object, which was the light pole, kind of draw it, and it had like a couple lights coming out of it. And then this shadow was pretty long. It was 44 feet. So we'll put that in, 44 feet. The location was Queen Easto. And the time was 4:03 p.m., which is 16:03 military time. And then the date was, again, March 25th, 2020. Not my actual birthday. My actual birthday is today, March 26th. I can't believe it. Anyway, we can figure out the elevation from our website, suncalc.org. So since I zoomed in somehow, I got to somewhere else. So let's change this to Queenie Park. Let me refresh that. There we go. Erase what we have. Now I'll put Queenie Park. And, oh man, sorry about that. Queenie Park. Okay, and then the time here was 4:03, which is 16:03. Take the time, and it was an altitude of 36.02. So the angle of elevation was 36.02 degrees. And then hopefully, this was mostly flat. It was a little bit raised onto the grass, but not much. So again, if I'm finding the light pole, I have the opposite and the adjacent. So tangent of 36.02 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Multiply both sides by 44. And I'm going to type that in all at once in my calculator. 44 times tangent 36.02 gives me 31.99, or basically 32 feet. That seems reasonable. So instead of having to climb up there and measure it, I could use the math to figure it out. So object 2 is 32 feet. That was the light pole.
Hey, Mrs. Sperber, how tall is this?
I don't know, but we can find out. It is 4:10 on Wednesday, March 25th. We are going to see how long this shadow is. So we've got 16 feet. Put a marker down. Another 16 feet. Put a marker down. And perfect. Another 16 feet. So 48 feet for this shadow. Let's do some math and figure out how tall it is.
Okay, for our third and final object in the notes, this was the pine tree, or I think that's a pine tree. I don't know. Tree with all the green stuff. So this tree, we figured out at 4:10, which is 16:10 in military time. Again, 3:25, location still Queenie. And the angle of elevation we will look up, and the shadow length was 48 feet. So it was 48 feet. Make that gray for the shadow. Okay, so back to our website, suncalc.org. I still have Queenie Park in there, so let's just change this to 4:10. Take that time. And it was 34.84 degrees. 34.84 degrees. So if I look, my angle of elevation, 34.84. I'm assuming this is a right triangle. Honestly, it didn't really look perfectly straight. That ground was a little slanted, so my numbers, my height of my tree will be off a little bit, but I kind of did that on purpose. I wanted you to see it really it will change it a little bit if it's not a right angle or flat ground. It was, you know, you can't always find perfectly flat, so this gives you kind of an idea of roughly how tall it is. So if I'm trying to figure out how tall this tree is, again, opposite and adjacent. So I have tangent of 34.84 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Multiply both sides by 48, and I'm going to type that in my calculator all at once, which will be 48 times tan 34.84, and that gives me 33.4. So I think that this tree is roughly 33.4, so taller than that light post. Let's say 33.4 feet. Okay, that is all we have on the notes. Your homework is going to be to do 3 objects of your own. So go ahead and get the sheet. It looks a lot like this. It will just say homework here instead of notes on Google Classroom. And I'm going to give you guys 2 of them that I measured. Those will be coming up next. And then the third one you're going to have to go find. So here is your first couple of your homework.
Hey students, how tall is this light pole?
You might not know, but you can find out. All we have to do is measure the shadow, which is 16 feet. Put a marker. And 14 feet for a total of 30 feet. It is 4:22 on Wednesday, March 25th at Queenie Park.
Hey students, how tall is this tree?
You may not know, but you can find out. Let's measure the shadow. It is 4:30 on Wednesday, March 26th at Queenie Park. So measure it out, put a marker down. That's 16 feet. And where's the shadow stop? 16, 12 for 28 feet. Now our birthday math adventure is over. But good news, you can finish it off for us. Yes, good luck. Now it's your turn. Go outside, take a tape measure, measure the shadow of something, figure out the time, the date, look at suncalc.org, figure out how tall it is.
Okay, guys, now it's your turn. On your homework tonight, object 1 is going to be that pole that we looked at. There was, if you're not sure which one I was talking about, there was a handicap sign right next to it. So that is your first homework assignment. The info is in the video that we just watched. Object 2 is the tree with the pretty reddish, pinkish berries on it. And then object 3 is up to you. Go in your front yard, your backyard, find the angle of elevation with suncalc.org for all of these, and this is your homework. Good luck. Email me if you have any questions. See you guys. Birthday Math Adventure! Woohoo!